Hello there everybody, it's Tigitar here, and welcome back to episode number 6 of the Tigaria project. So, one thing you might notice, I changed my outfit on my character here. I was messing around with some different vanity options and settled on some new wings and some new dye and hairstyle. So, I'm all set to go here, and I've been working here on Tigaria. So I think what might be fun is if I just do a little zoomed in walkthrough just to show off what I've done so far, just real quick. So the second tower over on the right is done to match the one on the left. And then I've also worked a little bit on making these bridges and pathways that connect to the center. And so I have a central building to match the two side towers that is right in the center of the base. And then this bridge walkway connects it with the two side towers. Down below the pylon area underneath, I have kind of a similar deal. So I used this same bottom of the tower design and copied it over here in the center and added this piece in the middle with bridges connecting again. So let me just kind of explain a few of the things that are going on. I used the exact same block palette, everything. Since I completed the first tower here, I basically had a template to work off of and just copied everything from there. So it made the designing super easy for the most part. I just had to kind of figure out where I wanted to build the bridges and that kind of thing. I also have some support pillars connecting from down below to support the upper structure here, so it kind of connects it all together. Another thing that I forgot to mention here, I added a few banners on the side towers. These are actually the Dracomir Rider banners from the solar pillar, and so I added those along the outside and painted them white, of course. And I thought that the shape of them actually matched our theme pretty well. It's got just a little bit of kind of a spiky-ish shape to it that matches like our wrought iron fences and stuff like that. I added a few small details like this green gem centered directly below our pylon so that it can sort of continue some sort of living green glowing energy that will flow throughout the build, I'm hoping. I also added one just below the top little room right here as well. So this area is basically all for decoration, right? It's for decoration and for these teleporters, which will then take you further out in the world later on. And let's see, I'm not really planning on using these teleporters to go to the other parts of the base. I'm planning on saving these teleporters to go other places throughout the world. So the rest of the actual build, like all the different sections for displaying weapons and tools and armor and different content within the game, will be connected out here. So the other thing I've been working on is this outer ring or oval, I guess. It's a giant oval centered on the inner structure. It's basically going to be a framework for continuing the build and actually getting into the good stuff. And oh good, we got a blood moon, so now everything's gonna look a weird color. That's okay, most of the rest of this I can probably explain better from the map anyway. So yeah, I have this oval structure built out of stone and grass on the outside. At both the top, bottom, and both sides, I built these little crystal structure deals, I don't know what you all call them, where the energy can be flowing and kind of connect with, I guess. By the way, the stone texture that I've used, you'll notice it's not just all solid stone. On the map you can see there's some other colors. I actually used living mahogany and painted it gray because it matches the stone color really nicely, but it adds that other texture. And so I actually like that quite a lot. I used the same thing right here around the forest pylon in the very center. The only tricky thing is moss does not grow on the gray painted living mahogany. And so I had to make sure that the very border or wherever I want to put moss is actual stone. I have krypton moss growing around the crystals, and so I had to make sure that all of that was actual stone right around the inside. But other than that, I just tried to randomize the living mahogany in to add that different texture. So anyway, as I was saying, from here, I think in order to get the central hub sort of finished out, there are a few things that I want to do. One is deal with the super tall trees, and decorate them up and make them their own special display item, basically, and kind of make them look like a special little garden area. And this, of course, means that on the right-hand side, we'll have to come up with something to match it to fill the space. And I'm not exactly sure what that's going to be yet, but I'm thinking it could be maybe a display summary about the base and the project itself. And so we can have a lot of information about how it was built, what it all contains, and stuff about the project. So maybe that can be over here. So to support the framework, what I would like to do is from the ground, probably re-terraform the whole surface underneath the crater. Maybe add a few rocky sections and make it and retexture it completely to really fill it in. And then I'm gonna probably have, I'm thinking 4 like twisted living tree-like limbs or trunks that grow out of the ground below and connect with the structure of our oval here, and those will be acting as the main supports and the entities that actually support the whole structure itself. Living tree trunks, let's just say, that twist up and connect to the structure and then support the base from there. Around the perimeter of the oval then will be more twisting, living, growing vines and trees and leaves and everything that we'll have to work our pathways into, so that you'll be able to navigate all around this oval here using the different pathways through the twisting living vines. And from there, we can add pathways connecting to the center and supporting it as well, that will be smaller tendrils of vines and living wood that grow up. And so then from there, we'll have a framework where we can build offshoots off of the perimeter after we have it all grown in. And those offshoots will contain small areas with teleporters that go to the different areas of the actual base itself. And so, for example, we're going to have an armor display section. And so let's say right over here, we'll have a pathway going along somehow through this structure. And from it, there'll be an offshoot where there's a teleporter that will be decorated with different mannequins with special looking armor sets, a sign that tells you exactly what is over here, and basically build a little branch with a room or some sort of decoration that indicates what part of the base it leads to. Maybe different armor pieces will be on mannequins guarding the teleporter that will take you somewhere to the other build where we'll have the actual full armor display in its own environment that's completely built up for itself. And of course, we'll have the same thing built for the weapons, one for the tools, and many of the same wings that I have in Terra will have to recreate as their own big environment to display those items. For example, the critters, the fishing, the tools and weapons, which I've mentioned, vanity items, of course, probably a display room dedicated to bosses and boss-themed items. That's one thing that I don't have specifically in Terra. I think that would be cool. As well as some of the new things that have really been added in 1.4, such as the food items. We'll have to have like a big dining court or royal hall with all the different food items on display there where you can go check them out. So that's the idea for carrying on with this project. But I'm really happy with the framework that we have so far, and I think it's going to be a good base to build off of. Also, you might notice this tree farm up on the surface here. I'm anticipating using a lot of wood on this living pathway section that comes next. And so that's kind of what I put all these trees up here for. So hopefully I managed to articulate my ideas roughly understandably, I guess. There isn't a whole lot of actual like building to show off or special techniques that I've come up with, but basically just use the classic circle generator, the Minecraft circle generator online. It's an outstanding tool for large scale shapes like this. I really suggest you guys take advantage of it too. So yes, that's where we stand now with Tigaria. I'm really looking forward to continuing getting the center hub all the way constructed, and then we'll be all ready for adding on the different branches. And of course, we'll have to also start working on some new mini games. I've been thinking a little bit about it, but I haven't planned anything out. But I would like to do maybe a PvP arena with some cool different mechanics and different things like that make it interesting. We'll see what happens from here, but I think the next thing that I'm going to focus on is the support structure for the oval here and the connections between everything, really bringing it alive. That's what I need to do next, I think. So I'll be working on that. Thank you guys a ton for watching this little update video. I hope that the project is looking adequate for your guys' tastes, and I'm looking forward to continuing on it. So the song of the episode is going to be We'll Meet Again by the Fat Rat. You may very well know of the Fat Rat. He's actually a super popular artist and one of my favorites. So check him out. He's got a bunch of awesome songs. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you so very much for watching.